Greetings. I'm Dr. Jonathan Mastersmith, Chair of the Organization and Rules Committee for the Western North Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church. As you may remember, this committee serves as a group that offers changes to our plan of organization and rules of order and procedure for the annual conference. This plan of organization and rules of order and procedure may be found in your program and reports book and your supplement. These changes may come from discussions within the group, recommendations from various conference entities, corrections that help bring us closer to the discipline of the United Methodist Church, or through actions of the annual conference. The members of this committee include myself, Dustin Millman, Denise Kilgo, Ella Hand, Kelly Schrader, Caroline Wood, Kim Ingram, and Bishop Carter. This video serves to provide a brief and hopefully helpful explanation for the suggested changes we offered this year. You will notice that there's not as many changes as in past years because we've worked very hard over the past few years to ensure an equitable organization and rules that is in line with the Book of Discipline and makes sense for us as an annual conference in the 21st century. Most of the changes we made this time are only minor changes that mostly address issues of organizational change and conference actions. As I go through each of these, I'll provide an explanation for proposed changes. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or to the conference secretary's office. I'd be happy to talk with you about this. Now, let's begin. First, under Part 1, Section A, Number 1, lowercase a, we add the phrase, as provided in paragraph 32 of the Book of Discipline. This is done in order to connect our description of clergy membership with the constitution of our denomination. Next, under Part 1, Section A, Number 1, lowercase e, you will notice that following United Methodist Women is the phrase United Women in Faith. This occurs several more times through our plan of organization. And this reflects the organizational name change of the United Methodist Women as part of an organizational refresh that includes a new logo, new programs, and new resources designed for the 21st century. For more information on this change, I suggest that you reach out to the leadership of the Conference United Women in Faith. From there, we'll move to Part 1, Section A, Number 2, regarding District at-Large lay delegates. You will see that we've added the phrase, District at-Large members will be elected to opening business session of annual conference. This is to bring us in line with the requirements of the discipline that at-large members must be elected, not simply selected. Now moving on, under Part 1, Section C, Conference Organization Number 1, Committee on Nominations, lowercase a. The words and inclusiveness have been added midway through the section following the word diversity. This was done to clarify that while diversity is crucial to the ministry of the conference, we also want to make sure that those who are involved are as diverse as possible, as well as those who are involved feel as if they belong in their role and are supported by the conference and its members, and that we provide an inclusive atmosphere as part of this. You will also see in the same section under lowercase e the sentence, nominations process shall be conducted in a manner that ensures diversity and inclusiveness. This is added in the same way to reflect the same expectations as the previous edition of inclusiveness. From there, we move to Section C, Number 5, lowercase b, Justice and Reconciliation Team, and lowercase d, Mission Engagement. In lowercase b, the phrase and ministries of creation care led by a conference earthkeeper is removed and is placed in lowercase d. This is simply done to represent a change in the makeup of these two groups, with the representation for ministries of creation care moving from justice and reconciliation to mission engagement. The word and is of course added before Hispanic Latino ministry to correct sentence structure in lowercase b. For questions regarding this name change, I recommend that you reach out to members of Justice and Reconciliation or Mission Engagement Team. Most likely, the best place to look would be the Conference Earthkeeper, who is represented in these groups. Finally, we come to the largest change of our rules. Part 1, Section F, Number 7. This addition comes as a result of annual conference action. On June 22nd, 2019, the annual conference adopted Petition 19, Election of Clergy Delegates to General Conference. It charged this committee, the Committee on Organization and Rules, with a particular task. I'll read from the petition from this petition available in the 2019 Conference Journal, available on the conference website. It reads, Resolved, the Committee on Rules and Organization for the Western North Carolina Conference shall provide a process for the 2023 election of clergy delegates to the 2024 General Conference that allows for clergy to self-nominate, and be it further resolved that such a process produce individual profiles with demographic and other information relevant to serving as a General Conference delegate to the voting members of annual conference for review at least 4 to 6 weeks prior to the meeting of the annual conference. And be it further resolved that such a process not disqualify from nomination or election any clergy in full connection who choose not to self-submit a nomination, who choose not to self-submit a nomination and profile, but who otherwise meet the requirements of eligibility laid out in the Book of Discipline. After discussion with clergy and laity, we decided to combine and streamline the process for clergy and laity nominations, not just for the 2024 General Conference, but for, in theory, all general conferences and jurisdictional conferences moving forward. The key components of this are that clergy and laity wishing to nominate themselves as delegates may submit their names, a picture, a brief biographical sketch, and any statements of position on topics or issues facing the church and world to the conference secretary's office in the format requested by the deadline provided. This resource will then be available at least 4 weeks prior to the meeting of the annual conference, at which delegates will be elected. Regardless of submission of information, all eligible clergy and laity, are, as defined by the Book of Discipline, may be elected to serve as delegate to general or jurisdictional conference. All eligible clergy will be assigned an identification number, and this list will be provided to all clergy eligible to vote. While the number of laity prohibits the creation of such a list, a write-in process will be provided, where any voting layperson may write in the name of any eligible layperson in the Western North Carolina Conference. The voting process will be determined by the Office of the Conference Secretary. The remaining portions of this section describe the expectations of all involved in the election process, including campaigning, as well as expectations of delegates, as well as those who engage with the delegates or potential delegates. And all of this, of course, is to be done, as all of our business should be, in the spirit of holy conferencing. This concludes our description of the proposed changes to the plan of rules and organization. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or the Office of the Conference Secretary, and I encourage you to vote as you feel led on these and any other business before us at the annual conference.